Center for the Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to the first lesson of our first unit in grade 12 chemistry. In this unit, we will be learning about different types of mixtures and solutions, as well as their properties and characteristics. We will learn how to solve problems involving different types of solutions, and we will learn about the behaviors of different solutions. In today's lesson, we will learn about homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. We will distinguish between these two and look at some examples. We will also define solute, solvent, and solution, and we will describe suspension and colloids. If you are ready, we will get started. What is a mixture? It is a combination of two or more substances in which each substance retains its own chemical identity and hence its own properties. Students, can you think of some examples of mixtures you might find in your own home? Please list 3 now.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. I wonder what mixtures you thought of. You might have said that salt and water are a mixture. When these two substances are added together, they both retain their own chemical identities. The salt dissociates into an aqueous solution. You might have also said that air is a mixture. It is a combination of many elements, including nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, and several others. The air we breathe also contains water vapor and carbon dioxide, which is a mixture in itself. Each substance is present and retains its own properties. When discussing mixtures, there are two classifications they fall under: homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. A homogeneous mixture is a mixture in which the composition of the mixture is the same throughout. In this type of mixture, there are no visible boundaries between the components involved. This is because the components are combined as individual atoms, ions, and molecules. Let us look at an example. If you add a spoonful of salt or sugar to a glass of water, the salt or sugar will dissolve in the water. While both of the components will still be present, you will not be able to see them apart visually. The mixture is uniform. Typical solutions contain at least two substances. The smaller amount of substance is called the solute, and the larger amount of another substance is called the solvent. The solvent can also be the component that retains the original physical state. A heterogeneous mixture has one or more visible boundaries between the components. The substance present in smaller amount is called the solute, and the other substance that exists in the larger amount is called the solvent. The solvent can also be the component that retains the original physical state. Thus, solution is a homogeneous mixture of solute and solvent. If we look at a heterogeneous mixture, we will be able to see the boundaries, either by the naked eye or with the use of a magnifying glass. Let us look at an example. If you pour some sand into a jar and then pour some stones on top of the sand, you are able to clearly see the boundary between these two components. Students, let us do a fun activity. Please draw a picture of two large jars. In one jar, draw a homogeneous mixture. In the other jar, draw a heterogeneous mixture. Label the components in each mixture and then explain why each mixture is either homogeneous or heterogeneous. Please use examples that are different from the ones we have already discussed. You may begin.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, students. There are many different types of homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures you could have drawn. Teacher, please check the student's drawing to make sure they correctly represent each type of mixture. Your homogeneous mixture should not have discernible boundaries. The components should mix together to form a uniform solution. Your heterogeneous mixture should have discernible boundaries. It should not be a uniform solution. Let us move on with our lesson and discuss suspension and colloids. Suspensions are heterogeneous mixtures composed of particles that are visible to the naked eye or that can be seen with a magnifying glass. For example, a mixture of mud and water, or water and flour, are suspensions. The particles within these mixtures are suspended and appear cloudy. However, if they are left alone, they will eventually settle. This image displays the difference between a solution and a suspension. The first image is a solution. As you can see, the components have dissolved together and are uniform. The second image is a suspension. The components have settled and separated, forming a mixture that is not uniform. Colloids have properties that are intermediate between those of suspensions and solutions. The particles found in a colloid are bigger than most simple molecules. However, these particles are small enough that they do not settle. When you look at a colloid, it might seem like it is a uniform mixture, but it is not. Colloids often appear cloudy or opaque unless they are very dilute. They can exist in any state of matter. Clouds are an example of colloids. They are made up of air and water droplets that are small enough to not settle, but are large enough to scatter light effectively. Today, we learned about homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. We learned that homogeneous mixtures have components that are uniform throughout. Heterogeneous mixtures have components that are visibly separate. We also learned about suspensions and colloids. Suspensions are heterogeneous mixtures composed of visible particles. Colloids have characteristics somewhere between suspensions and solutions. This brings us to the end of our lesson. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.